I'm Mason Mount. You're listening to the London is Blue podcast.
All right, next one, Fikayo Tomori. Again, I don't think this has anything to do with him. It's more of his development stage, especially if you assume that we have Christensen, Rudiger, David Luiz, and Zuma. I mean, he's number 5. He's kind of the odd man out in this situation. The thought, I think George was, he played with Frank at Derby. He knows Frank. He knows the system. But again, when you go from Derby to Chelsea, there's already established players there ahead of him in the pecking order. So I guess, do you think a loan move's right for him, or do you think maybe one of the other 4 center backs should be moved on to make way for him?
No, I think you said it. There's 4 ahead of him in centre back, and then you also look at Reece James coming back, who everyone's very excited about. And then you could also argue that Azpilicueta can move into a centre back position, so maybe he's 6th in the pecking order. And I think you're right. It's nothing to do with his talent. It's nothing to do with the way he's played. No one's slating him as a footballer. It's simply at that age and with that lack of top flight experience, I 100% think if we can get him out on loan to like one of the newly promoted Premier League clubs with a guarantee of minutes, I think that's the best move for him.
Send him to Villa.
Send everyone to Villa.
Let JT work with him, What a great center back mentor.
No, that'd be brilliant.
Any other feedback, I guess, from you guys on the pod side of Tomori? Pretty straightforward.
I mean, he's a better ball player than Zuma. I again watched Zuma really struggle to make clean passes today, and I get it. I'm going to be that guy. But when you look at the passing fluidity of David Luiz and then it comes to Zuma and it's bungled to the next nearest person, I mean, he had a hit back at Cumming today that I was like, oh, my God, like you're putting this poor kid who's out for like 2 minutes in a really tough spot. Like, yeah. So I love Zuma. I hope his passing improves. Otherwise, Tomori's going to lap him next year. It's not good enough.
2 things with that. I would say, one, trying to compare any of our center backs passing to David Luiz is pretty much a failure because Luiz
or Christensen, they're both good, and Rudiger's right behind him. Like
Luiz is like college professor. We'll say that maybe Christensen is like a student in his class, and then Rudiger is maybe like a high school teacher, and then that's kind of where we're at from a passing perspective. Like, it's not fair to kind of like apples to oranges this, because Luiz is just a naturally gifted footballer in a lot of different ways, and passing is one of those. None of our center backs pass as well as he does. And then I would say beyond that, I would actually say that I think the issue, similar to Alonso when he runs, Zuma looks down a lot when he is kind of running and looking to pass. And I think optically it creates it looks like he's like confused, but he's just making sure he's like on the ball to play it. And I don't necessarily know if he's as bad at passing as we tend to say that he is. Just wanted to...
I don't even know if he's bad.
If I can jump in here. As a professional soccer player, you shouldn't be looking at your feet. As a 10-year-old, you shouldn't be looking at your feet. I mean, Brandon, you and I have played our whole lives. Like, you don't need to look down to know where the ball is, especially if you're the one who's dribbling with it. Like that, to me, it's unacceptable. And I think the bigger worry for us from our center backs today was the goals we conceded from set pieces. Because what we've talked about with Zuma is his ability in the air. And the garbage we let in on, I think, was it the second goal? It was just like
third. It was the third goal.
Just a tap in inside the 6.
Come on, like, again, we're not going to stack up to Luiz. Like, Luiz's pass to Emerson in the second half, Luiz was basically saying, not only am I going to give you the best pass there is, but I'm telling you where to run. Like, he bounced it in front of it. Like, it was the perfect. Like, I want you to go here, run onto the ball, and carry this forward. So I just think that Zuma needs to. I don't know. We are going to struggle at center back this season, and it's going to be ugly, I think. I know we think that Rudiger has been somewhat unseated, but we need him back as soon as possible, because I'm not convinced that Zuma, Christensen, or Tomori can step up and play, especially the short run of games that we have against United, Liverpool, even Leicester. It's going to be a struggle.
Yeah, I think, I don't know. We all want Rudiger back. Like, dude's a beast. He balls when he's out there. And we've all seen him dance in the locker room. So we need that that vibe, that swagger back. He brings it. Last one, Zappacosta. George, you brought it up. We're all excited to see Reece James back. I think we've almost kind of forgotten about the poor guy because he hasn't been there in preseason. I think it was at Carefree Youth tweeted today that he's out of his cast. So he is on to the next step of his rehabilitation. But before that, I mean, he was definitely Wiggins Player of the Year, Championship Defender of the Year, something. He won a huge award last season.
Yeah, he got the most man of the matches, I think, for a defender, and then he also was in the Player of the Year, the Team of the Year, sorry, and I think he won Wiggins Player of the Year as well. So he's racking up the accolades. And I saw somewhere the other day where somebody, I can't remember who it was in the Chelsea online community, made a statement saying that if Reece James is given the opportunity at Chelsea, he could have the same impact for Chelsea as Trent Alexander-Arnold has had for Liverpool. And it was somebody whose opinion I respected. And I thought, you know what? It's the only issue with Chelsea is, will he be given the time?
Yeah.
Will he be given the games? And from the highlight reels that I've seen, and I won't lie, I didn't watch a lot of football from Wigan last season. But from what I did see, we're not just talking about a player who's quick, who can get round the back. Like sometimes with fullbacks, it's like, oh, he's pacey, is he? Great. He's got good statistics on FIFA. Wonderful. But he looks like a player who was playing way above his maturity level, way above his age. And if he's given minutes in this team, and you know, let's not argue with it. We're a Champions League football club. If Reece James can get minutes in this Chelsea team, he could be Chelsea's right back for the foreseeable future. And then we're talking about Zappacosta again. It's like, well, I've always given the guy a hard time because I don't think he does his job. Like, yes, he's a footballer, but he's a defender, but he can't defend. So
Right.
I don't see how Zappacosta can be ahead of Reece James in that right back position. I just don't think it's possible, even though Reece James is so young.
Well, I think, whatever, if you want to say Zappacosta was a wingback at Torino before he came in, whatever, Dan, splitting hairs, you still got to do your job.
About it. Yeah.
I mean, he had remember his shot cross against Karabag right away, and he scored, and we're like, here we go, big time signing, and then it's just been not the same.
We got fleeced by Torino, who we bought Zappacosta from for 30+ million euros, and we sold him Olena for 10. So we were the loser in that transaction. Not often that we lose transfers, but that one we absolutely lost to that club. Yeah, Zappacosta at some point should be moved on. Obviously, I think Lazio was an option in January, but we weren't able to get the deal over the line due to some wages. So hopefully we can find him a landing spot and move on to make room for Reece James and Azpilicueta to battle it out this season, because I think that would be a really, really interesting opportunity for both players to be pushed. We saw it when Emerson came in, and it made Alonso better for some stretches. Competition just raises everybody's game, and Azpilicueta looked really great today, and so it'd be great to continue to see him rise. And if that makes Reece James even better, then we all win.
Yeah, I was going to say, when you look at the players in the shop window section, outside of Tomori, who I think we're all excited about, just maybe not right now, Conte was given some really interesting ingredients to work with in his final season. And, after all the shenanigans that went on, it's tough to feel too bad for a guy that just got paid $10 million to leave. But boy, there's not a whole lot of talent here to work with, and it's probably best that we move on from that class at Chelsea.